Namaste and welcome back to Maple Edit for It, the place where we turn your Canadian immigration confusion into clarity. If you are an international student trying to figure out what comes after finishing your studies in Canada, you are in the right place. If you have just wrapped up your program, first of all, congrats. But now comes the real question. How do you apply for your post-graduation work permit without messing it up? In this video, I will walk you through everything from starting the application through the IRCC Secure Account to filling out the IMM 5710 form, uploading documents like your language test results, and what to do if you have completed a 1+1 program and want to make sure you qualify for a 3-year PGWP. So grab your laptop, we are going to apply step by step together. Let's make this process way less stressful. I assume you all have your credentials to log into the IRCC Secure Account. If not, you can make one. You can use your banking login details to create one as well. If you had one before but forgot your credentials or your representative didn't give you the login details, don't panic. You can create a new one and link your previous applications to it. Let's start from logging into the IRCC Secure account using your GC credentials. Before we start the application, don't forget to subscribe the channel to get the content related to your immigration journey in Canada. After logging in, you can see this interface of your IRCC Secure account. If you scroll down, you can see a section where it says apply to come to Canada. Click on that, scroll down and click on visitor visa, study or work permit tab button. Then some questions will appear and we need to give answers to these questions. So let's do it together. What would you like to do in Canada? Select work. How long are you planning to stay in Canada? Select temporarily, more than 6 months. Select the code that matches the one on your passport, means select your country that issued your passport. What is your current country or territory of residence? So if you are in Canada, select Canada. Do you have a family member who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and is 18 years or older? If you have any family member that are Canadian citizens or PR, select yes, otherwise select no. And enter your date of birth. Click next. Are you a lawful permanent resident of US or with a valid US citizen or immigration number? Select no. What is your current immigration status in Canada? Even though you have completed your study, you need to select student over here because you still have a valid study permit. So please make sure you have a valid study permit before applying for PGWP. Do you plan to work on campus? Right now we are applying for PGWP, so we're gonna select no on this. Are you a full-time student at a participating post-secondary institution and want to work off campus up to 20 hours per week? Since we have completed our study, we're gonna select no on here. Have you recently graduated from a participating Canadian post-secondary institution for which your study program was full-time and a minimum of 8 months? So yes, because we recently graduated from our program and we're applying for PGWP. And is your work an essential part of your studies? That is for a co-op or internship program, we're gonna select no for that and move on. Have you been told by an IRCC office that you are approved in principle for permanent residence in Canada? Select no. Have you submitted permanent residence application in Canada? No again. Do you have a written job offer? Select no and move on to the next step. Do you have an official letter from a school that confirms you have completed your study program as well as a copy of your final transcript? Yes. So make sure you have all these documents ready before you start this application. What is your marital status? Select your marital status. I have selected single here. What is your province or territory of residence? Just select a province or territory of residence you are staying right now. So there will be our result and that shows what applications we are eligible to apply for. So select the PGWP in Canada application and click on continue there. Click on continue again. So do you have an official letter from your school that confirms you have completed a study program? This is the same question that we answered earlier. Select yes and select Next. Have you had a medical exam performed by an IRCC authorized panel within the last 12 months? I assume the medical that we did before coming to Canada has already expired, so I'm selecting no here. Right here, there are some conditions where a medical exam is needed. For example, if you want to stay in Canada for more than 6 months and if you have lived in one or more of the designated countries or territories. If you click over there, you'll see a list of countries or territories. If you have lived in there for more than 6 months in the past year, you have to do a medical exam. Also, your intention is to work in one of these jobs like health science workers, clinical laboratory worker, nursery worker. If you want to do any of these jobs, you have to do a medical exam as well. So if you fit into these categories, select yes, otherwise select no. Click next. Here is another question which is similar to our previous question. If you want to work in one of the following jobs, you have to do a medical, as I said earlier. You can do a upfront medical or you can do medical after a medical request. But if you want to work on these jobs, you need to do a medical exam. So if you fall under this, you want to select yes, otherwise select no and continue. Do you want to submit an application for a family member? If you are applying for a family member at the same time, select yes, otherwise select no. Are you giving someone access to your application? We are doing our application by ourselves, so select no and select next. In the past 10 years, have you given fingerprint and photo biometric for an application to come to Canada? Yes, because we did that when we applied for our study permit. There are fees associated with the application. Will you be paying your fees? Select yes, I'll be paying my fees. Are you able to make digital copy of your documents? Select yes. Will you be paying your application fees online? Select yes for this as well. Now it will give us a chance to review our answer. So just review the answers thoroughly so that there is no any mistake. After checking all the answers, scroll down to the bottom and select continue. Now it will show some steps. So scroll down to the bottom and select continue again. Now it comes to the section where we have to upload the documents. So we're gonna do all of this step by step, one by one. Let's start with IMM 5710 form. Clicking on the form name will take you to the page to download the form. Then you click on the form and download it. After downloading, open the PDF from your computer folder. You can have a folder made in your computer to keep all the required documents arranged and organized. That will make it easy later when uploading them and also to cross-check. Now open the IMM 5710 form and start filling it out. At first, UCI number. You have the UCI number on your study permit. It's on the top right side labeled as UCI. Put that number on the form. All the fields that are marked with an asterisk are mandatory to fill up on this form. Then select I want service in English or French. I have selected English here. Then click applying for the work permit for the first time. Yes, this is our first time applying for a work permit. Then enter your full legal name. If you have any other name, put that as well. Otherwise, click no. Then fill out your personal details like select gender, enter your date of birth, choose the place of birth with country, and choose your country of citizenship. Now, current country or territory of residence. As we are applying for PGWP inside Canada, we need to provide our status details here. Our status is still student and make sure your permit is valid. After selecting student, enter the issue date of your permit that is on your study permit. If you have a study permit extension, then put the first study permit's issue date, not the issue of extension. And then in the to section, if you have one study permit, enter its expiry date. But if you have a study permit extension, enter the expiry date of the extended permit. Then in the section of previous countries and territories of residence, if you have lived in any other countries for more than 6 months other than your country of residence and your country of citizenship in the past 5 years, you have to fill out the information here. If you haven't, click no and move ahead. Then select your marital status. If not married, select single as I did here. So coming down, it says have you previously been married or not. If you have never got married, click no and continue. Then select your mother tongue. And in the question, are you able to communicate in English or French? Select between English and French. I have selected English here. Have you taken a test from a designated testing agency? Select yes for that. Now enter your passport details. Enter your passport number, country of issuance, issue date and expiry date. If your passport was expired and you renewed it in a different country than your country of citizenship through an embassy, you have to select your original passport issuing country, not the country from where you renewed your passport. For national identity document, if you have one, select yes and provide the detail. If you don't have any, select no. For Indian citizens, enter the Aadhaar card details in there. For USPR, if you are not a USPR, click no. Now enter your address. You'll get your PGWP permit at the same address once it is approved. So enter your address precisely. If you change your address later, you have to inform IRCC by raising a web form. If your residential address is the same as your mailing address, click yes. Now enter your Canadian phone number. If you have any alternative phone number, provide that as well. Enter your email address. Now another section, coming to Canada. Now it is asking when and where did you come to Canada for the very first time. This is your first entry date inside Canada, and it is also stamped on your passport by CBSA. Also, if you got your study permit on the same day when you landed in Canada, then it is the issue date of your study permit. So enter the date that you arrived in Canada, enter the place where you arrived. For instance, I am entering Toronto Pearson Airport as I landed at that airport for the first time. Now it's asking the original purpose for coming to Canada. So why did you come to Canada initially? We came to study, so we're gonna select study over there. Now in the next box, it is asking about the date and place of your most recent entry to Canada. If you haven't left Canada once you came here, then no need to write anything over there. You can just skip it. But if you have went back to your home country or somewhere else outside the Canada, provide the recent entry date and the place you entered. Now, if applicable, provide your document number. The document number from our recent permit. So you might have a study permit or a study permit extension for those who extended their permit. It's on the study permit paper on the top right corner, just below the red color digits, as I'm showing it on this picture right here. Enter your document number on this box over here. For those who have a study permit extension, use the recent document number, that is from your recent study permit extension document. Now, details of intended work in Canada. It is asking what type of work permit are you applying for. Select post-graduation work permit, as we are applying for post-graduation work permit. Now it's asking for the details of your prospective employer. Since we are applying for post-graduation work permit and it is an open work permit, you don't have to fill any details over there. Just skip that, scroll down, just go down to the box number 8. It's asking if you have been nominated for a PNP, select no. So in the education section, have you have a post-secondary education, select yes. Now we are going to enter the details of Canadian education that you have completed. Now we are considering two different scenarios right here. The scenario number 1 is you have done a single program in Canada. There is only one program. So you just have to use the detail of that program only. But for scenario number 2, for the people who completed two different programs, like two one-year programs in Canada, for example PG or certificate programs, I will show how to enter those details in a while. So first let's go with scenario number 1, that is with only one program. So for the students with only one program, it's pretty simple. Just enter the start and end date of your program, enter the field of study, that is name of your program, your school or college name, enter the city or town you completed the program from, and enter the province. Now let's talk about the scenario number 2 for those students who completed two programs in Canada. So in the from section, enter the start date of your first program, which is your first study program in Canada. In the field of study section, try to manage to enter both your programs names separated by a dash or a forward slash. For example, here I have wrote PG in project management 5/business. Enter the name of the university or college. If you have completed your program from single institution, just write the single institution name. But if you have changed your university or college as well, provide name of both the colleges or universities separated by a dash or forward slash. For example, I am writing McEwen University / Northwest College. Now coming to the program end date or the to section over here. Enter the end date of your second program. So don't get confused over here. In the from section, you have to enter the date of the first program start date, and in the to section, you have to enter the end date of the second program. So in the same manner, continue with the city. If you have completed from single city, just write just one city. If you have completed from two different cities, put those name as well and select your province. For the students who have completed 1+1 program, the things we have mentioned in this education box, we have to break it down in a separate letter and explain everything and upload it through client information form, which I will show you in a bit. Let's continue with the employment section. Continue to enter all your employment history from past 10 years, even those that you have done while you were a student. If you are currently doing a job, you don't have to enter the in date, as getting a completion letter doesn't mean you have to leave your job. So as you can see, here are only 3 sections to enter your employment history. But if you have more employment history, then I will show you how to fill that as well in the later section of this video. Now in the background information section, this one varies from person to person, so enter what applies to you. But one thing to be careful here is while filling out the section 2B and 2C. If you ever got a visa rejection from any countries, click yes and provide the detail in the section D. Similarly, in the section 2C, it is asking, have you previously applied to enter or remain in Canada? You have to answer yes, as we have applied for our study permit to come to Canada. So in the box 2D, we have to provide the details. For example, I have clicked yes in 2C and I'm providing the details in the box 2D here. For example, I wrote I applied for a study permit and was uploaded on this date. Similarly, if you have applied for a study permit extension, mention that as well. Like I applied for a study permit extension and was uploaded on this date. Continue with the background information. Answer according to your conditions. Now coming to the end of this form, click yes for consent. On this signature box, write your full name and provide the date. You don't have to print and sign this form, as you already mentioned your name over there and you digitally signed it. Now, when everything is filled out and everything is done properly, you have to click on the validate button on the bottom of this page and validate this form. If your form doesn't have any error, it will say validation completed. If you missed any mandatory section or if you made any mistakes, an error message will pop up. The error section will be highlighted in red color. If you get any error, correct it and come at the end of this form to validate it once again. After your form is validated, make sure the barcode is generated before saving the form. Now we have completed the IMM 5710 form. Let's go back to our IRCC Secure Portal and continue with the rest of the documents. So we're gonna upload our IMM 5710 form that we just filled. If you uploaded a wrong file by mistake, you can change the file by clicking on update information. Upload a correct file and it will replace the file uploaded previously. Now scrolling down, supporting documents. The first thing is your recent education transcript. Your education transcript will look like this, where it has all the courses you have taken, grades and other relevant information. Okay, now for those students who did 1+1 year program in Canada, you have to combine the transcripts from your both program. So for 1+1 year program, you have to place your latest transcript on the first page and the transcript from your first program on the second page. Make sure you combine both in a single PDF and upload it here. Notice that once you upload the file name shows up under the uploaded file tab. So you can check that whether you uploaded the correct file or not. That's why it is essential to save your document with the same name as required by this portal here to avoid any mistakes. Similarly, let's continue with the completion letter. Your completion letter looks like this, where it has all your information and it states what program you completed. If you have completed just one program, you would have only one completion letter and you will upload it. But for the students who have completed two one-year programs, they have to upload two completion letter from their both programs as we did earlier. You have to put your completion letter of your recently graduated program on the first page, and on the second page put the completion letter of the first program you did in Canada. You have to combine both the completion letter in a single PDF and upload it. Now in the passport section, if you are confused what to upload in the passport section, you can click on the question mark button and it will say what should be scanned and uploaded. So it says your passport must have a page that shows your birth date and country of origin, and all the pages that has stamp and visas on it. For example, here is a sample of a passport where it shows your personal details and a counterfoil page where you have the sticker of your student visa. You should scan all the pages and upload it. Now a digital photo. If you click on the question mark here, you will see the specification required for the photo. You can go to Staples or Shoppers or any other shop and tell them you need a photo to be taken for a Canada work visa, or you can show this to them and they will click a picture according to it and give it to you. So once you have that photo, you can upload it here. Now in the optional document section, schedule 1 is optional and is for the people who are applying from outside Canada, so we don't have to fill this up. Now it comes to the point where we can use the client information form to provide our additional documents. If you have noticed, we have uploaded all the documents like our transcript, completion letter, passport, digital photo and everything, but there is no place to upload your language test results. To upload your IELTS, CELPIP or PT result, we have to use this client information form. Also, we're gonna use this client information section to provide additional information that was not possible to provide in the IMM 5710 form. For example, the people who have done 1+1 program, they have to break down their education and provide an explanation letter in this section. Also, if you have multiple employment history and you couldn't accommodate all in that form, we're gonna show that in the client information form as well. So for the reference, I have made a sample client information form here, in which I have written a letter to IRCC, and the subject of this letter is contents of my PGWP application. I have explained that I am adding additional information supporting my PGWP application through this client information section. For example, I have made a table over here which represents the content of these letters. In number 1, I wrote there is additional information that I couldn't provide an IMM 5710 form. But if all your information required by the IMM 5710 form was completed on the form itself, you don't have to do this extra step. You can skip this. The reason I kept this here is for those who completed 1+1 year programs and for those who have many employment history. So if you have completed only one program in Canada, you can skip the letter of explanation as well, as it doesn't affect your PGWP duration. But for people who have completed 1+1 year program, they have to explain in this letter so that they get their 3 years of PGWP. Similarly, on number 3, there is IELTS TRF, and on number 4, my study permit. So let's continue with this letter and see other pages here. So this is for students who completed 2 one-year study programs. So I have taken the format of the IMM 5710 form and represented in a table where I can break down my 2 programs so that it is more clear for the visa officers. Remember, we had only one table to provide our education details in the IMM 5710 form itself. That's why we are breaking it down in here to provide all the information required by the visa officer. So in this table, provide your recent education and its start date, end date, program name, the school you completed it from, city, country and province. Similarly, provide your first program details in the table 2. And if you have done like bachelor's degree from back home and you did PG in Canada, it is always better to mention your undergraduate degree details in here. Similarly, for people who has more employment history, here they can use this table as well. So this is the same table format I took from IMM 5710 form, and I represented all my employment history in this table, which I was unable to do in the form itself. Moving forward to the letter of explanation, as I already said, this is only for those who did 2 one-year programs. Here I have written an explanation saying I have completed 2 one-year program in Canada. In this sample, I am saying that I am applying for a PGWP. I have done 2 programs in Canada, so my PGWP application should be considered equal to 2 years of study equivalent. Below I have mentioned the full details of both the programs. Also remember, we need to upload the combined transcript and combined completion letter of both programs as I showed earlier, where we uploaded our transcript and completion letter. So our next page is for the TRF of our language test result. Here I have mentioned my IELTS test result. On the following page, you can attach your study permit and your study permit extension if you have one, so that it is easier for the visa officer to link your application. So now with all these documents combined in a single PDF, upload this into the client information section. After uploading all your documents, please recheck that all your documents are uploaded properly and you have uploaded the correct file. Now let's scroll down. On the bottom it says we have to pay some fees, that is $255. Come to the bottom and select on next. So on this page it will show all the uploaded files. Scroll down and select on I agree, and in the signature panel enter your given name, your last name, and answer to a security question that you made when you are making a GCK account. So after filling all this application, click on sign and it will take you to the secure payment section where you have to pay the fee, and after you pay the fee your application will be submitted to IRCC. Alright, after submitting your application, your portal will look like this. You're gonna have 2 or 3 messages in it. One says confirmation of online application transmission, another is submission confirmation, and another is temporary work permit extension for PGWP. So this temporary work permit for PGWP is automatically generated by the system, and some people will get it right away and some people will get it in a while, or some people will never get it. If you didn't get this work permit for PGWP later, it doesn't mean you are not eligible to work. As soon as your application is submitted and you get the submission confirmation letter, that allows you to work in Canada legally. A quick reminder here, you can't work after you get your study completion letter from your university or college until you submit a PGWP application. Once you submit your PGWP application and get the submission confirmation mail, you can work. Also, so many people have a confusion that work permit extension comes with a date on it. So people think they are only allowed to work until that date, but that's not true. So as I said earlier, this letter is system generated, and this letter only serves as proof to show it to your employer that you are legally allowed to work in Canada. But you can work in Canada legally until you get a decision on your PGWP application. Any of you didn't get the letter but you really need it, then you can contact IRCC by raising a web form and ask them to provide a temporary work permit extension letter. So after your application is finally submitted, you can start working again. And a quick reminder, you need to find a job in tier category 0, 1, 2, 3 to be qualified for Canadian experience class. So tier category 4 and 5 job are not eligible for CEC. So plan accordingly, which will make your PR journey easy in Canada. So our video is completed here. If you think I helped you a little bit, please subscribe the channel and hit that like button. If you have any confusion, you can drop a comment. I will reply to it. And I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.